Then we got to get back up there. Yes, you're quite right, Mrs. Corney. We must get rid of this canker in our midst. That boy was born to be hung, Mrs. Corney. I've never been so shocked in all my days.
Hush, Mr. Bumble. You must have had quite a turn. Sit down and have a nice cup of tea.
Well, it's nice to be appreciated, Mrs. Corney. These here paupers in this here parish don't appreciate me. Anti-parochial they are, ma'am, anti-parochial. We have given away a matter of 20 loaves and a cheese and a half this very blessed afternoon, and still them paupers is not contented.
Of course they're not. When would they be? Sweet, Mr. Bumble?
Very sweet indeed.
You little tinker, you.
You have a cat, ma'am, I see, and kittens too, I declare.
Oh, I'm so fond of them, you can't imagine, Mr. Bumble. And they're fond of their home, too.
Mrs. Corney, ma'am, I must say that any cat or kitten that could live with you, ma'am, and not be fond of its home must be an idiot, ma'am, and don't deserve to live in it.
Oh, Mr. Bumble.
Oh, it's no use disguising facts, ma'am. An idiot. I would drown it myself, with pleasure.
Then you're a cruel man. A very hard-hearted man at all.
Hard-hearted, Mrs. Corney. Hard-hearted, ma'am? Are you hard-hearted, Mrs. Corney?
Oh, dear me. What a very curious question coming from a single man. What can you want to know for? Oh, Mr. Bumble, I shall scream.
Married. And 2 weeks ago tomorrow it was done. Oh, it seems an age. Oh, I sold myself for 6 teaspoons, a pair of sugar tongs, and a milk pot with a small quantity of second-hand furniture and £20 cash. I was very reasonable. Cheap, that cheap.
Cheap? You would have been dear at any price, and dear enough I paid for you. Lord above knew that. Are you going to sit there snoring all day?
I am going to sit here as long as I think proper, madam. And although I was not snoring, I shall snore, gape, sneeze, laugh, or cry as the humour strikes me, such being my prerogative.
Your prerogative?
I said the word, madam. The prerogative of a man is to command.
And what's the prerogative of a woman, in the name of goodness?
To obey, madam. Your late unfortunate husband should have taught it to you, and then perhaps he might have been alive today, and I wish he was. Poor man.
Ooh, you hard-hearted brute.
Cry away, madam. It opens the lungs, exercises the eye, softens the temper, and washes the face. So cry away.
How dare you speak to me like that, you great big lump. Now talk about your prerogative if you dare. Shut up and take yourself away from here unless you want me to do something desperate. Well, are you going?
Certainly, my dear. Certainly. I had no intention of staying. It's just that you are so very violent.
I understand that you bring information regarding the boy, Oliver Twist.
I have come in answer to your advertisement. Bumble is my name, sir. A beadle of the workhouse where this boy was cared for, from where he was apprenticed to an undertaker, where he ran away from.
Yes, and do you know where the boy is now?
Not no more than nobody.
Well, what do you know of him?
This little trinket was given by the lad's dying mother to my dear wife just before she passed away. The lad's dying mother, that is, not my wife. Mrs. Bumble has kept it all this time.
You say that when he left your workhouse, you went to an undertaker's?
Yes, Mr. Sowerberry, the undertaker, took Oliver from us for £5.
You mean to say you sold him like an animal?
Well, sir, it was Mrs. Bumble who actually authorised the sale.
Really? Then I will see to it that neither of you is employed in a situation of trust again. You may leave my house.
I hope this unfortunate little circumstance will not deprive me of my parochial office.
Indeed it will, and you may think yourself well off besides.
Well, it was all Mrs. Bumble. She would do it.
That is no excuse. You You were present on the occasion when the boy was sold, and indeed are the more guilty of the two in the eye of the law. For the law supposes that the wife acts under your direction.
If the law supposes that, then the law is an ass. If that's the eye of the law, then the law is a bachelor. And the worst I wish the law is that his eyes may be opened by experience. By experience.